Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Sunday. Got a full slate of NFL action to cover. So go ahead and like and subscribe. Check out all my links in the description below. And go ahead and check out ParlayPlay, guys. $10 minimum deposit. You will get a 100% match. $5 for referring your friends. Also, a free NFL contest every Sunday. $125 in prizes. Just pretty much predicting over and unders. So go ahead and hop in there and get a chance at getting that money. And yeah, we'll hop into it. A lot of matchups to cover. We got the Ravens versus the Bears. Ravens opening up as 6-point favorites with the over-under at 44.5. You can get the Ravens on the money line at minus 260. The Bears plus 220. The last 6 head-to-head, Chicago's 4-2, 3-3 covering. And then the over-under in this series is just 2-4. Baltimore coming off that pathetic 22-10 loss against the Dolphins. Chicago coming off a 29-27 loss against Pitt. Currently on a 4-game losing streak here. Baltimore 6-3 covering against Chicago. I like the Ravens on a bounce back here. I do say Lamar is questionable. He was kind of sick this week, but I still like the Ravens. Off that bounce back loss, hard to trust this Chicago team. Really, I mean, it really is. I think Ravens bounce back in a big way this week, taking the Ravens minus 6. Next matchup, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland opening up as 12.5-point favorites with the over-under at 42.5. You can get Cleveland on the money line at minus 550. Detroit plus 450. The last 10 head-to-head. Detroit's 4-1, 3-2 covering in those matchups. The over-under in the series is 4-1. Detroit coming off a tie against Pittsburgh. And, they haven't got one a game this season. Been rough for them. Cleveland coming off that 45-7 loss against the Patriots. Detroit 0-12-1 in their last 13. I think it's a great bounce back spot for this Browns team. Getting Chubb back. Going to be able to run all over this Detroit defense here. Going to be another tough outing for Detroit. Great bounce back spot for the Browns here. Going to take Cleveland minus 12.5. Add them to your money line parlays as well. Next matchup, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings. Packers opening up as 1-point favorites with the over-under at 47.5. The last 10 head-to-head, Green Bay 4-5-1, Minnesota 5-4-1. Both teams 5-5 covering in those 10 matchups. The over-under in this series is 4-2. I'm sorry, 4-6. Green Bay coming off a 17-0 sweep against Seattle. Minnesota coming off a 27-20 win over the Chargers. Green Bay 9-0 covering in their last 9, 8-1 in their last 9. Minnesota 1-7 covering at home here. I like the Packers -1. Even though it looks like, they probably won't have Aaron Jones. Yeah, Aaron Jones is out. I think they'll be just fine. The offense, A.J. Dillon will carry the rock. He'll be fine. Packers have been pretty much unstoppable. And except for that Kansas City game, but there was no Aaron. Yeah. And Minnesota has struggled covering at home. We'll take the Packers on the money line here. Next matchup, we have the Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. Titans opening up as 10-point favorites with the over-under at 44.5. You can get the Titans on the money line at minus 450. Houston plus 365. The last 10 head-to-head, Tennessee 6-4, 5-5 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 6-4. Houston coming off a 17-9 loss against Miami. Tennessee playing amazing football, 8-2 right now. Houston on an 8-game losing streak, 0-7 on the road. Tennessee 4-1 at home. Rolling with Tennessee -10 here. Add them to your money line parlays. Next matchup, we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Buffalo Bills. Bills opening up as 7-point favorites with the over-under at 49.5. You can get the Bills on the money line at minus 310. The Colts plus 265. The last 10 head-to-head, the Colts 6-4, 5-4-1 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 3-7. Colts coming off a 23-17 win over Jacksonville. Buffalo coming off a 45-17 win over the Jets. Colts 8-4 in their last 12 against Buffalo. They're 5-2 covering in their last 7 games here. Buffalo 10-1 at home, 14-4 in their last 18. I think it's going to be a battle. This is probably one of the tougher games on this slate. Colts been playing really good football as of late here. On a 2-game winning streak, good momentum. I think a great matchup with the Bills is going to be a test. The Bills had that bad loss to Jacksonville and then lost that close Tennessee one. That was a close one. Most of their competitive games have been close here. I think I'm going to take the Colts by a point, by a half a point, get them plus 7.5. And I think it's going to be a closer game than we think. I'm going to take the Colts plus 7.5. Next matchup, we have the Miami Dolphins versus the New York Jets. Dolphins opening up as 3.5 point favorites with the over-under at 44.5. You can get the Dolphins on the money line at minus 180, the Jets plus 165. The last 10 head-to-head, Miami 8-2, 8-1-1 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is just 4-6. Miami 3-7 in their last 10, coming off that 22-10 win over Baltimore, riding a 2-game winning streak here. 6-0 covering against the Jets. No, Joe Flacco is going to get the start here, but going to be tough against this tough Miami defense, especially what they did to Lamar last week. Yeah, going to buy a point, and we're going to get the Dolphins minus 2.5. Take them on the money line. Next matchup, we have the New Orleans Saints versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles opening up as 2.5 point favorites with the over-under at 42.5. You can get the Eagles on the money line at minus 145. The Saints plus 130. The last 10 head-to-head, the Saints 7-3. 5-5 covering in those 10 matchups. The over-under in this series is 6-4. The Saints currently on a 2-game losing streak. No Kamara, which definitely hurts. Philly 4-6 in their last 10. And neither team's been playing that great here. Saints 5-2 in their last 7 against Philly. 16-4 on the road. Playing good on the road. Philly 0-5 at home right now. I think I'm going to buy a point. Get the Saints plus 3.5. I think it's going to be a close game. Neither team playing really good football. Even with no Kamara, Mark Ingram did fine last week. Philly playing a tough Saints defense. Yeah, we'll take the Saints plus 3.5 here. Next matchup, we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Niners opening up as 6.5 point favorites with the over-under at 45. You can get the Niners on the money line at minus 290. The Jags plus 255. The last 5 head-to-head, San Francisco's 3-2, 4-1 covering in those matchups. The over-under in this series is 2-3. The Niners coming off a 31-10 win over the Rams. Jags coming off a 23-17 loss against the Colts. The Niners 4-1 in the last 5 on the road, 4-1 covering against the Jags. Jags 2-10 at home. Yeah, good spot for the Niners to build off that nice Rams win. We'll take San Francisco minus 6.5. Take them on the money line for your parlays. Next matchup, we have the Washington football team versus the Carolina Panthers. Carolina opening up as 3.5 point favorites with the over-under at 43. You can get Carolina on the money line at minus 165. Washington plus 150 with the over-under at 43. The last 10 head-to-head, Carolina 7-3. 5-5 covering in those 10 matchups. The over-under in this series is 3-6-1. Washington coming off a 29-19 win over Tampa Bay. Carolina coming off a 34-10 win over Arizona. Yeah, Carolina getting Cam Newton as the starting quarterback. McCaffrey's back. Going to buy a point, get Carolina minus 2.5. I feel like it'll be pretty close. Yeah, we'll take Carolina minus 2.5. Take them on the money line. Next matchup, we have the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Bengals opening up as 1 point favorites with the over-under at 50.5. You can get the Bengals on the money line at minus 115. the Raiders plus 100. The last 10 head-to-head, Bengals 4-5, 7-2 covering in those 9 matchups. The over-under in this series is just 3-6. Bengals coming off a 41-16 loss against Cleveland, riding a 2-game losing streak. Vegas coming off a 41-14 loss against Kansas City. Both teams on a little losing streak. Cincinnati, not a good road team. 2-15 on the road against Vegas. 4-15-1 on the road again, just on the road in general. Raiders 2-5 covering in their last 7. In a pick'em scenario, pretty much, I like the Bengals to bounce back here. Joe Burrow, two bad games in a row, 2 bad losses in a row. I think it's a good bounce back for the Bengals. It's a good bounce back for both teams, but I just trust this Bengals offense a little bit more, and I'm going to roll with the Bengals on the money line. Next matchup, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Seattle Seahawks. Cardinals opening up as 1.5 point favorites with the over-under at 47.5. You can get the Cardinals on the money line at minus 125. Seattle plus 112. The last 10 head-to-head, Arizona 4-5-1. Seattle 5-4-1. Arizona 6-3-1 covering in those 10 matchups. The over-under in this series is just 4-6. Arizona coming off a 34-10 loss against Carolina. And then Seattle coming off a 17-0 loss against Green Bay. No D-Hop. Kyler Murray is questionable. I kind of doubt Kyler Murray plays. This is the one game on the slate I just do not like at all. I mean, I absolutely hate it. Because if Murray does play, he's not going to be fully healthy. Yeah, not in love with this matchup. One I'm personally staying away from. So I'm going to take the Seahawks plus 1.5 here. I just think Russ is they're going to answer back here against this Arizona D, especially not scoring last week. Colt McCoy injured, could be their third string quarterback playing for Arizona. I really have no idea. Staying away from it, but we'll take the shot with the points with Seattle. Next matchup, we have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs opening up as 2.5 point favorites with the over-under at 56.5. You can get the Chiefs on the money line at minus 130. The Cowboys plus 120. The last 10 head-to-head, Dallas is 4-2. 3-2-1 covering in those matchups. The over-under in the series is just 2-4. Dallas coming off a 43-3 win over Atlanta. Kansas City coming off a 41-14 win over the Raiders. Dallas, no Amari Cooper. That does hurt a little bit. 7-1 in their last 8. 5-1 covering on the road. And they're 8-1 covering in their last 9. Yeah, I'm going to buy a point with Dallas. Get Dallas plus 3.5. This is going to be a fun game here. Probably the most fun on this slate. Going to be a tight one. We'll take Dallas plus 3.5 here. All right, next matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers opening up as 5 point favorites with the over-under at 47.5. You can get the Chargers on the money line at minus 235. Pittsburgh plus 205. The last 10 head-to-head, Pitt 7-3. 6-4 covering in those 10. The over-under in this series is just 5-5. Pitt coming off a 16-16 tie against Detroit. Chargers coming off a 27-20 loss against Minnesota. It's going to be without Watt and Hayden, missing some key defensive people, so that does hurt that defense. Pitt 2-6 covering in their last 8. Chargers 9-4 in their last 13. 9-4 covering in their last 13 here. Going to be a tough game. No Watt, definitely hurts the defense here. I like the Chargers in this matchup. -5. Probably more of a money line play for your parlays. Could be a close game, so I could see it really going either way. I just like the Chargers off a bounce back loss against Minnesota. I know Big Ben's going to be back, but this Chargers D is pretty solid. Going to be a tight one, but I like the Chargers to go and get this win here. And then the last matchup, we have the New York Giants versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa opening up as 11 point favorites with the over-under at 49.5. You can get Tampa on the money line at -500, the Giants +430. The last 10 head-to-head, the Giants 7-3, 7-2-1 covering in those matchups. The over/under in this series is 6-4. Giants coming off a 23-16 win over the Raiders. Tampa Bay coming off a 29-19 loss against Washington. Currently on a 2-game losing streak here. Giants 4-2 covering in their last 6. I think Tom Brady and Tampa, they're angry. They're on a 2-game losing streak. I think a nice matchup with this Giants team on Monday Night Football. I think Tom's going to do some primetime magic here. I think they're going to dominate this Giants team. Taking Tampa Bay -11. I just think they're going to destroy this Giants team, especially on a 2-game losing streak. Taking Tom off the bounce back. That's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Sunday, and I'll see you guys Monday. Have a good one.